Welcome everyone to the AI show. This is an initiative that we do every weekday. We do it sometimes on the LinkedIn audio event, and sometimes we do on Zoom if we have some presentation. So first of all, I'd like to thank Shreya to take up this amazing topic about how specifically this there is all this emerging technologies we are hearing about AI, data, and everything. What is their impact for the industry leaders who are there, right? How they can take these concepts and they can plan, because first they need to absorb these technologies with proper knowledge, and then only they can cascade it down within the team and have some say in the culture of the organization. But before we go to that specific topic, I would like to request everyone today to stay back after this session, because as Shreya is going to give you a lot of next steps. Even though the session is recorded, we request people to stay till the end. Plus, what I am going to request all of you is, if I can just share my screen. We have partnered with this company called OnDemand, because I have been working in this space for 20 years, how we can build applications and how we can do it in an, you can say, the MVP, the prototype of any application should be frictionless. You don't need to spend months to make your simple project an MVP. We have partnered with OnDemand, and they are giving a free tier to all our community members. Plus, for people who want to take it one step further, who are building good projects, we are also giving them credits, $500 credits, so which will easily be help you for GPU credits, for API credits, for at least for 1 year. But to do that, first I have put the link here on the chat. For a limited time, there is a free tier. After that, you have to like OpenAI, right? You have to pay $5 to start working with it. But here, you don't need to pay anything, and you get access to all the APIs, including OpenAI, Gemini, Flash, JS. If you're in UAE, the local model of JS and everything at one platform. Plus, you can do a lot of marketplaces. I don't want to take too much time, but I have shared this link with all of you. There's a free tier for limited time. Register. Stay till the end. We will be doing a spin the wheel for all the people who have registered. What we will be doing, we'll do a spin a wheel, and whoever is lucky will get a $500 credit from the IRF, this company, to build your own applications that are there. But in the free tier also, I have been using the free tier for almost 1 month, and you can see very less, you can see has been used. So you can still use it in the free tier for a lot of time. And the credit is $500, that if you are eligible, if you win this or you are doing some good projects, you can always get in touch with me, but you can have this as well. So stay till the end. We will be doing we will not be doing a quiz. Generally we do a quiz, but because of less of time, we will do a spin a wheel, and then you can get access to this, and you can do more projects. It's completely one stack. Is like an operating system to build AI solutions, where you have everything: agents, models, API keys, and there is a very good documentation. And I'm also building some projects which I will share in the community very soon. So now, coming back to today's topic, as I was mentioning, we have Shreya Gupta. She is a machine learning engineer, and she is a co-founder of Vishnu Systems, which is a cybersecurity company that specializes in AI for medical applications. With over 7+ years experience in AI and a strong entrepreneurial background, Shreya has developed empathetic AI systems and collaborated with industry leaders like Latham and Watkins, Internet Brands, and WebMD. So she has a lot of experience, and she is a part of the DDS community for some time. And I had invited her to come and share her knowledge. And thanks a lot, Shreya, for accepting this invitation. And the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Arshad. I really appreciate you inviting me for speaking with all of our community members here and sharing latest things that are happening around the technology industry and how everybody can leverage that for their organizations, but also for their careers. So I'll share my screen now. Let me know if you can see my screen, and we'll go from there. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, perfect. Hello everyone. Good evening. My name is Shreya Gupta, and I'm an AI engineer by trade, and I'm also the co-founder and CTO of Vishnu Systems. We are a cybersecurity company focusing on making the medical devices and healthcare devices more secure when they are AI enabled. So we are in artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and healthcare at the same time. And I've been in the AI industry for over 7 years now. And I worked with multiple different organizations and different companies and different clients on an individual level as well. And I have a background in business. So I have been around different businesses and different application, different industries for quite a while. So I'll share some of my experiences and how to strategically implement those for your organization, for your own implementation. So the agenda for today is first we'll start by discussing what emerging technologies are and what are the latest technologies that are somewhat there already and some that will be there in the future. Why should you care? In this, we'll discuss it at a couple different levels of why you should be caring about this. Then we'll go through some real world examples of how these are being implemented in the industry as of today. And we'll focus more on the healthcare industry for these applications. And then we'll go through what are the challenges of in adoption of AI in the organizations and how to overcome those challenges and strategically implement AI in the organization, because it has to start with the leadership and trickle down towards the rest of the organization to turn it into a culture. And towards the end, we will discuss about how to protect your stakeholders and build trust so that it actually helps your career and the organization. So, without much further ado, let's start. So, first things first, what are emerging technologies? So, the emerging technologies, by definition, is the technologies that are still in their infancy. So, they are still emerging. There's still a lot of research left to do, and it's not just application at this point, but there is a lot of uh, future forward leaning approach to these technologies. So, the first one that we all keep hearing about and has picked up quite a lot since ChatGPT was launched is artificial intelligence and machine learning. But it is not a new field, it is over 40 years old. But with the potential that it is still considered as an emerging technology because there is a lot of potential to the field that is yet to be realized. And there are applications for AI and ML across industries. Healthcare is one of them. Legal tech space is getting started. Real estate is still very behind on this. So there's a lot of traditional businesses that can leverage AI ML, and there's a lot of research and application research being done in those fields. The next we have edge computing. Edge computing is actually a funny one in a way where people are not discussing about this enough. A lot of big companies, including Adobe and Apple, are doing, and Google, in fact, actually, are doing a lot of research towards edge computing. So, what edge computing means is having any technology and having your large AI models and having them run inference on the edge on your personal devices. So, if you're making a query from your mobile phone, it doesn't have to go to the computing center on the server. It doesn't have to go through the network. The processing to give you the result happens on your phone, which cuts down a lot of networking, makes it more secure, makes it faster. So this is one field where we need to be having more discussions, and it will support AI and ML as well. Another one is quantum computing. Um, it's there, but it's not quite there yet. There's a lot of constraints when it comes to quantum computing, including the computing constraints and what that means for sustainability and how that is implemented. So, this is a heavy research area if you're interested in research. IoT, Internet of Things, um, a lot of wearables, Apple Watch, pacemakers, Wi-Fi and AI-enabled refrigerators, home theaters, security alarm systems. These are all Internet of Things devices which are connected over the network and are now AI-enabled as well, which is something that is still in testing in a lot of areas and already implemented in some of them. Biotech. So, biotech is considered as an emerging technology, whereas medtech is considered as an existing and a well defined technology already. And this is something that we'll get a little deeper into. The next one is AR VR, which is augmented reality and virtual reality. This is being heavily used in gaming and in the education field, and somewhat in healthcare field for specially abled people and for people with learning disabilities as well. The next one we have is robotics. This is heavily being used in the medical field as well as in the manufacturing industry, somewhat in the gaming industry, but there is still a lot of scope left for robotics to be booming. The next one is the clean energy technology. This is something that not a lot of companies are focusing on, but all the big players are focusing on this right now. Is any technology needs to be sustainable for it to be growing and for other organizations to be accepting that and adopting that into their organization. So, if you're doing AI ML, how do you make it cleaner? How do you make it more sustainable? How do you make your data centers more sustainable? If you're doing biotech, how do you make sure that you're not creating a lot of e-waste? If you're doing robotics, where do you get your metals from? So that all falls under the category of clean energy. There's a few examples for this. And what are their applications? For example, for AI ML, we have natural language processing, computer vision, autonomous systems, self-driving cars. The next one we have here is going to be our edge computing. As we discussed earlier, it decentralizes your data processing closer to where it is going to be needed, for example, for IoT and AI applications. The next one is quantum computing. Most of its potential lies in solving complex problems exponentially faster than classical computers. If it's going to take millions of years on a regular computer, quantum computing can make it possible to actually do it faster within days. And then IoT is the networks of connected devices, for example, smart homes, industrial automation, environmental.
Request everyone to please be on mute. So Shreya, what I will do is I will put all the participants on mute, and we will open the mic later on if people have questions, because the people are still they don't follow the rules. So I have unmuted everyone, and we will. If anyone has any questions, please raise your hands or put it on the chat. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. Go ahead, Shreya.
No worries. Thank you so much. Thanks. So for biotechnology, uh, so the reason why medical technology is a well-established field and biotechnology is not, medical technology would be imaging, diagnosing, MRIs. Those are all medical technologies. There is a lot of research already done into that, and uh, it's a fairly advanced field. But biotechnology is things like gene editing, disease treatment through gene therapy, agricultural advancements, genetic modification. So these are all the technologies that kind of combine to form this field of biotechnology, and this is where a lot of research is going on, whether that's through agriculture or whether that is through healthcare industries. AR, VR, it is mostly used for immersive digital experience, whether that's in medical training, that is in retail product visualization. A lot of those try on your pair of glasses before you buy them virtually, or the Oculus, all these are under AR VR. Robotics. A lot of the collaborative robots and autonomous drones are being used in manufacturing and healthcare right now. Clean energy technology, as we discussed, any and every technology needs to be clean. So there is a separate branch for research and industry applications on how to make these energy applications more cleaner, and also using renewable resources for energy to power these for solar, wind, and hydrogen fuels. So that's all good and fine, but why should you care? So for this, we'll go a couple layers deep. The first one is, what are its impacts on your organization? And then we will discuss its impacts on you individually. So first of all, what are its impacts on your organization? The biggest one is that it future proofs your organization and drives innovation. We will focus mostly on the artificial intelligence here, and somewhat keep it in the healthcare industry since that is my specialization. But if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat or ask me later on about your specific industries, and I can help you with those as well. So it keeps your organization competitive and adaptable in rapidly evolving markets. The market is growing, everybody else is going to be using artificial intelligence. So your organization is liable to fall behind if it is not future proofed, and implementing AI in your organization is the best way to future proof your organization right now. Enhanced decision making. So everybody has been making decisions in their companies. That is how things move forward, right? But if you make data driven insights and you use predictive analytics and AI, your decisions are more informed, and formed in a way that leads to better strategic outcomes, which leads to operational efficiency being improved and saves a lot of money for your company. So it saves time and money and also improves the results, because your decisions are now more insight driven instead of just being manual guesswork. Customer centricity. So what this entails is you can now personalize your customer experience if you leverage AI. A lot of the companies are already doing this, especially in healthcare and digital advertising. And this is something where a lot of industries and companies still need to catch up. For example, real estate is not really implementing this as of yet. Healthcare and digital advertising are two industries that are heavily implementing this. Financial institutions have accepted this widely. So it helps you make your customers' experiences more personalized, improving their satisfaction and loyalty, which basically leads to more retention of customers. Another one is sustainability and social impact. So if your processes are more efficient, your overall operations are more sustainable, which helps with your company's CSR. So that is definitely something that a lot of big companies, they need to be sustainable, and they need to report their social impact annually, and some companies need to do it quarterly. So that is one area where companies have been heavily investing in AI to make them more efficient and to get a better sustainability and social impact scores. Another one is talent attraction and retention. Top talent would want to work in a place that is innovative, forward leaning, and where they get to learn something new while they are at work. And that is possible if your company is future proofed and thinking ahead and innovatively. And AI is one such thing where everybody wants to learn more about this. So if you have good training programs, and if your organization is one of the pioneers in this field, you will attract better talent than the other companies that are not leveraging AI. Another is the regulatory compliance and risk management. If you understand latest tech, that is the only way you can navigate regulations and mitigate any risks that are related to data privacy, cybersecurity, and digital governance. If you don't understand something, you won't be able to protect it. So you need to understand AI to protect your organization from potential breaches and make sure that you and your organization are complying with all the regulations and all the governance aspects of your applications. Global market reach. Um, Recently, Microsoft in their when they had their conference, they launched this new feature where you can translate YouTube videos real time. And I'm sitting here in the US, and there is audience from all across the world. Right now, we're all speaking in English, so it is easier to understand. But if I were to um, share my knowledge in only my native language, that would create that geographical and cultural barrier. But with the latest tech and uh, things like real time language translation, those barriers have been reduced a lot. And if your organization is global, you will need those technologies, you will need those um, accessibility tools to help your organization move faster and grow, scale better. That was for the organization. What does it mean for your personal career growth? Leadership and influence. If you are well versed with AI, it enhances your credibility within your organization as a leader who's innovative and is capable of driving the digital transformation. Since your organization would be looking to drive a digital transformation, they need leaders who can take charge, who have credibility, who know AI and can lead the whole project and help the organization um, get more ahead with the time. Strategic decision making. The organization gets more efficient with the strategic decision making. But when you are the person who's well versed with AI, you can lead those projects. They will look to you, they will look up to you, which helps with your career advancement as well. If there's something innovative in your company, you want to be the pioneer for that. What that also does is gives you competitive advantage. It sets you apart, it showcases your leadership, and it showcases that you are adopting cutting edge solutions that actually drive business growth, which leads to differentiation in the marketplace. You don't have to stick with one company if you're seen in your space as a leader who can adopt cutting edge solutions and technologies. You will have a lot of options in your career. Visibility and recognition. If you successfully implement any tech driven projects within your organization, it increases your visibility in the entire industry, which opens a lot of doors for you. You can get awards and leadership opportunities across the board if you are well versed with AI and other emerging technologies. Networking and collaboration. Once you start engaging with tech communities and start learning more about the field, it helps you expand your network. It helps you connect with mentors, peers, and collaborators. They will help you get into better positions, they'll help your career progression. And AI is something where you need to discuss those. If you don't know these, it is one of the basic requirements at this point in a lot of cases. One of the things that I like to say is you don't need to know how to build a computer from scratch, but you should know how to turn on a computer. AI is similar. You don't need to know how to build everything from scratch, but you should at least know how to leverage AI for your business, how to adopt it within your business. Innovation and problem solving. It empowers you to innovate solutions to complex challenges and helps you solve problems better and faster. And one of the biggest ones, and all of these points lead up to this one point, is it gives you career longevity. So The industry is evolving, things are changing on a global level. You want to stay ahead of the curve and you want to be the one whose career is not taken over by somebody else who's well versed with AI, because companies are going to be looking for people who can help the drive the growth faster, who can help them become more sustainable, who can future proof them. You want to be the person they turn to. You don't want to be somebody who's set aside because somebody else does this better than you or does this faster than you. That is where you want to learn AI for your own career longevity, for your own career progression, as well as for your organization. Now, what are the industries that are leveraging AI as of now? One such industry is digital marketing. Everything you see online today is being marketed to you, is being personalized to what your preferences are, to what your behaviors are. They have a complete profile on you, companies. One thing that I actually recently posted on LinkedIn as well is something I love saying is, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. And that is what happens in the digital advertising and digital marketing space. Uh, your data is being collected when you use any of the applications out there, and that is used for personalizing the marketing and the sales outreach towards you. And which basically means that if you are somebody who is looking to learn AI, this is one potential field that is very hireable right now. Another one is medicine. Medicine has always been one of the most forward leaning and innovative fuels, and AI is no difference. Out of all the different industries, medicine has the most advanced and the most life changing applications of AI. Telecommunications, um, all the call centers and the trainings are now being automated. All your calls that are being recorded for training purposes are not being manually reviewed. Nobody's sitting there going through those call logs manually. They are using AI to understand the behaviors and patterns of what the customer complaints are, what customers generally need help with, and how those questions are being answered by the representatives, and how can they better be answered based on the response and the feedback by the customers within the call. They can check your tonality, they can check the actual conversation, what were the words that were spoken, how long did the conversation last. So all these patterns help them drive the training for the new representatives and improve your customer experience. But they also are heavily hiring for people who can leverage AI to increase their growth and to help them grow faster and more efficiently. Banks are leveraging AI for example, I keep getting these letters pre-approved for this credit card, and these are your offers. So these offers are very custom tailored to me. So, for example, they will see, okay, this person has been applying for these kind of credit cards. They have been approved for these. This person lies in this demographic, so they would prefer these offers versus these offers. So, what are the best interest rate? A lot of predictive analytics. What real estate should the bank invest in? What customers, what kind of funds they should be investing in. So banks are heavily using AI as of now, and they are looking to automate things even further to improve the results, and which actually drives the economy overall on a global scale. Natural resources, a lot of um, clean energy and the clean technology is leveraging AI um, for improving their workflow and for improving their operations. One such as oil and gas. Earlier, industries were um, analyzing the data to see where to dig, and they would have to dig to get the oil and then be like, okay, this works, this doesn't work. But now you have sensors everywhere. You're leveraging IoT, and then you're driving patterns from this, and you already know where to dig just based on those. So it is something that they have been using for quite some time, and they're getting more and more heavily automated and predictive, which actually ends up helping the environment much better, because now you're not wasting your resources anymore. Manufacturing is using robotics and AI heavily for a lot of automation, for resourcing, for inventory management. Um, E-commerce, again, for personalization and for automation in the operations, it is using AI heavily. Cybersecurity. Cybersecurity goes hand in hand with AI. AI cannot survive with cybersecurity, but because AI increases your threat surface, so you need cybersecurity to make sure your AI is secure. But you need AI for cybersecurity as well. If you have threat surfaces, how do you recognize those? How do you automate those? How do you create better CTIs? How do you protect different entities better? How do you predict the behaviors of the threats? How do you create better personas and profiles? A lot of these are being leveraged using AI. Healthcare. Just like medicine, healthcare has been one of the pioneers in every single technologies that is out there, and AI is no different. Um, Everything from an automated diagnosing system to the fanciest MRI systems to predictive analytics in your care management, how your appointments are being handled, all falls under this category. Finance, stock hasn't been done manually in quite some time. All of this is driven automatically by AI. Um, that is one of the reasons that people say it is very hard to uh, beat the industry, because they have the best models, they have the best financial modeling capabilities than any individual can do on their own manually. Um, this is one place where they would probably start using quantum computing quite early on. Advertising, pretty much like digital marketing, the advertisements that you see and are exposed to are heavily tailored and personalized to your requirements. And this is an industry that constantly keeps evolving and leveraging the latest technologies to further move ahead and make things faster and more personalized to drive revenue for their clients. Construction is again very traditional industry, but leverages AI very heavily in terms of how the inventory is managed, how the procurement happens, how much material do they need to order so there is no wastage, what are things that will go bad first, how many things that do you have left. All these patterns help reduce cost and drive automation. These are some of the industries. There are more applications. I covered a very small chunk of them. And there's way many more applications that you can actually leverage. Regardless of your industry, there is an application. If there is something you can automate, if there is something you can improve, if there is something you can make it faster, that is when you want to leverage AI. Some of the applications of AI, real world applications. Um, So, one of the healthcare use cases is predictive analytics for patient outcomes. So, what happens right now is the patient pre-admissions and health risk are already predicted before, and the patients who are more uh, high risk, they are urged to get proactive care, and the doctors can um, plan your healthcare better in this case, because now they can see that okay, people with these kind of family histories, people with these kind of lifestyles, people of this age are more prone to certain diseases as compared to other people, so they can do their diagnostics accordingly. They can run tests accordingly. Like, okay, this person is more like more prone to this versus this. Let me run this test before I do that other thing. Medical imaging and diagnosing. For all the accurate diagnosis, a lot of the medical images are being analyzed using AI tools. This does not replace the doctors and their expertise. What this does is augments their existing capabilities and gives them a first pass. If an AI tool, and these have a lot of margin so that they do not misdiagnose, and that is like very sensitive and yet very interesting application, and it is being heavily used even right now. Another is personalized treatment plans. um, IBM Watson helps with this. So it would recommend people a personalized cancer treatment. And even in on a smaller scale, a lot of the hospital systems, they use personalized treatment plans based on the patient data. There are so many different factors contributing to health that it gets hard for one person, one care provider to know all the factors and account for all of them. So AI helps with a lot of that, to make sure that none of the decision makers are missed when making a treatment, creating a treatment plan. Virtual health assistants are becoming very common in the US as of now. Um, People cannot go to hospitals 24/7, especially since COVID. There were not enough care providers around there. So, virtual health assistants, symptom checkers, healthcare support, 24-hour healthcare support, they are basically giving you that same healthcare, the initial parts of it, 24 hours, so you don't have to pay for expensive healthcare all the time. You go there once you know that you need it. For example, Ada Health is offering medical advice and monitoring your symptoms 24 hours through your phone. So it is leveraging IoT and AI to give you those. Apple Watch is one such system. Drug discovery. So, one of the research papers that I was reading, what they're doing right now is, instead of testing these drugs on real rats or even real humans, what they're doing is they are simulating what the chemical changes would be, and they found that the results from the simulation were actually identical and very close to the results on the actual rats. So this is a game changer for the drug discovery and development. And it's being still researched. There, it is being used even now. For example, in silico medicine is one such application. But there is a lot more research that needs to go into this to make sure that it is safe when it is used for these applications. And FDA is very strict on how it approves these applications. If your application is AI enabled, since it is reaching so many people, they are very careful with what they approve and what they don't approve. Remote monitoring and wearables. We're all used to Apple Watches or Fitbits. So they are the first kind of the first symptom checker or the first plan of action towards preventive care. They will keep monitoring 24 hours and alert the authorities when needed. Um, so, if you want to implement AI in your organization, what does it mean? Before we get into before we get into that, I want to make sure that quickly. Do we have any questions, or do you see any questions in the chat that we need to answer before we move on?
Yeah, there were some questions from there were some questions. First of all, yeah, thanks. How much slides do you have more to cover?
So mostly we'll just be going through challenges and the strategies for implementation. Mostly, those
Sure.
are the biggest.
I think we will take the questions at once. You can have 5 more minutes and then we can take the questions for some time.
Okay, sounds good. So, what are the biggest challenges in AI adoption? One of the biggest ones is the privacy concerns. You want to make sure that you're safeguarding sensitive data, especially in healthcare, it is very critical. Uh, AI systems require access to large data sets, which includes a lot of personal and sensitive information. Give me 1 second, please.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah. We will take the questions in 5 minutes. Yeah. Go ahead, Shreya.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. So, if there is a data breach, it can erode trust and lead to regulatory and criminal charges for the company. So there's a lot of privacy concerns when it comes to AI adoption. Um, EU just launched their AI Act, which covered a lot of the privacy concerns that companies were having. OpenAI has been under a lot of scrutiny and lawsuits regarding privacy concerns. Another one, when you're implementing, one of the challenges that you will face is socio-demographic barriers. Some people just do not want to implement AI. If half your organization wants AI and the other half is very resistant to it, that would cause problems in the adoption and adaptation once you start implementing it. So, that is another barrier that needs to be overcome. Critical infrastructure. Your company already has an infrastructure in place. Once you bring in another player inside it, which is the AI, that integration has the potential to open it to more cyber attacks, and there is a lot of risk that comes along with it. So you need to be very careful with how you navigate that critical infrastructure within your organization. Ethical and bias issues. There are a lot of societal and human bias that perpetuates in the data, which then is used to train the AI, which then further is used to create more data. And it creates this cycle and a domino effect of bias that keeps exponentially increases because it was included at a very base level. So you need to be mindful of that and make sure you cover that when you're implementing AI in your organization. Another one would be a cost and resource constraints. As Arshad mentioned at the beginning, cost is one driving factor where a lot of organizations just cannot afford to implement AI in their company. AI experts, it's really expensive to hire them. So you need a lot of financial and human resources to set up, maintain, and train people and systems. So small organizations generally have problem with this. One solution is smaller companies just go for out of the box solutions that somebody else is doing as a SaaS offering, whereas the bigger players will generally have their own AI teams in house. Another thing you want to be very mindful of is the regulatory and compliance challenges. There is so much chaos in this field and so much misinformation out there that people generally let the regulatory and compliance piece kind of just pass by, which causes issues in the future for the whole organization. So you want to be very careful that you include this at the very beginning when you're doing your strategy planning. Integrating with existing systems is another issue. Workforce adaptation. You need to make sure that you train and upskill your existing employees before you start implementing AI completely. You cannot force people to use this. You need to train them. You need to get a buy-in from them. So that is going to be another challenge. Not everybody is open to this. Another biggest challenge is lack of strategic vision. A lot of people want to board the AI train. A lot of organizations want to board the AI train, but they do not have a strategy. They do not have a strategic vision of how to go about this. What that does is they implement AI without any strategy. The AI systems fail. The person who brought the AI to the organization is the one that gets blamed. The engineers get blamed. The AI team gets blamed. Company loses a lot of money, but it's not AI that is at fault. It is the lack of strategic vision. So, how to strategically do that? The biggest piece is start with the business problem and not the technical solution. Don't even think about, oh, I want to implement ChatGPT versus I want to implement NLP versus I want to implement computer vision. Think about the business problem first. You do not need a hammer where a small nudge is needed. You will break things apart. So make sure you implement the simplest solution first. Understand if you need an AI solution to solve your business need, or do you just want to board the AI train? Start with the business problem. Do not try to fit in AI solution into your existing workflows. It'll break things. You won't meet compliance, will cause bigger issues. So the process would be you first want to understand business needs from the stakeholders. Make sure you talk to stakeholders for this step. Convert the business needs into a technical solution based on the requirements that you got from the stakeholders. Find a technical solution, do the feasibility study, do all the cost analysis, make sure the technical solution is feasible and cost effective for your organization, which would look different for different organizations. You need to be very careful with it. Costs can drive up really fast when you're implementing AI if you're not careful. Now you want to present this solution. When you're presenting the solution, make sure you're talking to the business problem and not to the technical solution. Once when you're talking to the stakeholders, when you're presenting, you don't want to go back and talk a lot of technical jargon. You want to go and explain them what the business problem was. Make sure that they understand that you understand the business problem properly. Present the solution of how it would solve the business problem. What are the costs associated? What support will you need? And what are the blockers? Once your solutions and the expectations, including the support that you will need, all the blockers and the cost are approved, only then start building. That is the very last step you should be thinking about. Like, only then start building. Otherwise, go back to the drawing board, go back to the stakeholders, go back to a different technical solution. Maybe you need different data. Maybe the cost is too much. Go back, find the solution that you and stakeholders agree on before you start building anything, because you will need a lot of research once you start on this step. One last part we want to cover is protecting stakeholders and building trust. You cannot be a pioneer in your organization and implement a pretty disruptive technology like AI without protecting your stakeholders and building trust with them first. So you want to make sure you cover the data privacy and security. You use robust data protection, do regular security audits, and you want all your data practices to be very transparent within the company. You want to clearly communicate all the data practices that you have. Make sure your AI implementations are ethical. There is no faster way to get your company to shut down than be non-ethical and have bias. So make sure that you establish some sort of review board. Could be one person, could be 50 people. You need some sort of board. Follow the ethical guidelines. There is a lot of different guidelines that organizations for your industry would be out there. Follow those. Keep the communication very transparent. Keep going back and forth with the stakeholders and the people in the organization to make sure everybody's on the same page. It is quite a disruptive technology when it comes to your existing workflows. The last thing you want to do is not be transparent about how you want to implement this in the organization. Make sure you meet the compliance. Very important. One thing that we used to love say early on is you do not want to be the reason that your company ends up on the news. So that is where this comes in. Make sure that you comply with all the regulatory requirements. And yes, any questions?
Yeah, I think thanks a lot, first of all, for this wonderful summarizing this intense topic in such a wonderful slide, step by step, specifically for non-technical people, was amazing. There has been some request from the community to share this PDF, but it's up to you if you want to share some part of it that is not a copyright with the community. Now Barry was raising his hand. So Barry, you are still there. You want to raise your hands and ask your questions, and then we can take some questions from the chat from Narendra. Uh, you okay? Let me just Barry, if you want to raise your hands, please raise your hands, or else I will just read some questions from Narendra. So Narendra, his first question that he asked is, he has asked multiple questions, but I can just take one of the questions, that what are the different challenges associated with implementing AI in regulatory compliance?
Yes, okay, perfect. So, what are the biggest challenges for implementing AI in regulatory compliance? So, what some of the challenges would be the lack of clear boundaries of what the regulations look like. A lot of the governments, a lot of the organizations still have do not have those regulations. They're coming up with it as things go. So a lot of things that have been happening, which is kind of funny too when you look at it, is something will go wrong, and then people will then the organizations, then the government will come up with the regulation like, oh, you should not have done that. Everybody moving forward, don't do that. So that lack of structure and those lack of guidelines is one of the biggest issues that all the industries are facing right now. And another thing is, no two industries will have similar regulation. These are very case to case basis, so it is very hard to create a global or any sort of organized regulatory guideline. For example, legal industry versus healthcare industry versus fashion industry would have very different regulatory requirements. But you need, as an individual, if you are bringing AI into your organization, you want to make sure that you know what those compliance pieces would look like for your industry before you even present it, because you will be the one who will be under fire if things do not go the right way, because this will affect the reputation of the entire organization.
Thanks a lot, Shreya. Barry, you can let unmute you, and you can go ahead.
Okay, so my question is, let me also remove the raised hand. Okay, there I am. Hi, my question is, so on that note with regulatory, what would you like to see happen with the regulatory environment? Do you want to see, for example, the UAE adopt AI standards on healthcare? And also my other question would be regarding the fact that you said before that in one trial they figured out to use AI models instead of using, for example, animals to test drugs.
Mhm.
How do you feel that will change the healthcare industry? So these are my two questions. Thank you.
Of course. Thanks, Barry. I love those questions. I love those. Okay. So I'll do the second one first, because I think the regulatory one is a longer conversation. So that simulation piece, that research, the way that changes things is, first, it's a lot more humane. Not the animals are not being harmed for the initial testing, so that is one of the bigger game changers. So organizations like PETA, other organizations that are advocating for this, they are happier. It is more sustainable because now you're just running a simulation versus actually having to test um, on living beings, whether that's animals or humans. But also, when it comes to humans, things can go to clinical trial much faster, and the actual clinical trial period can be shorter because now there are other layers and other steps that you can take before you reach that point. So the simulations are pretty much like how pilots are like kind of trained in the simulations before they are actually put into an actual plane because it is safer. So it is the same here. You can reach a certain level of safety with the drugs before you ever reach any sort of living organism that can be harmed with the drug. So that is one way that I see the industry changing. So it's going to be a lot more faster. It's going to be a lot more humane, and it's going to be a lot safer, and it's going to save quite a lot of money for the industry, and a lot of the money comes from funding from the government, which is ultimately paid in taxes by people. So I would say it saves money for everyone. As for the regulatory compliance, one thing that I would love to see, and which is something that I've seen, is a shared sentiment amongst the community, as like the AI community as a whole, is more accountability, more clear lines of communication of accountability needs to happen. If something goes wrong, who is accountable? I recently heard somebody say, you should try AI as if it were a human. But what that does is it just takes away accountability from actual people who are responsible. But if somebody posts something on LinkedIn, somebody else uses that, they implement that, affect somebody in a negative way. The person sues the person who posted things on LinkedIn, and they're like, oh, my thing was AI generated. In that case, who's responsible? The person who blindly trusted this person's LinkedIn post and implemented this, the person who AI generated the LinkedIn post, LinkedIn as a platform, LinkedIn as a company, the editors at LinkedIn, the developers at LinkedIn, the person who created the ML model or the AI model that created the AI piece of information, the person who is personalizing the end user's feed. Like, is the government responsible? Is OpenAI responsible? Like, who's responsible in that case? So that is where we need more clear guidelines in the regulatory space. I hope that answered your questions.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, you stay back for 5-10 minutes if you don't mind. I will.
Sure.
You have a hard stop at 8 p.m. GST.
No, I have about 15 minutes after that
Sure,
that I
sure.
can prep for
So
buffer.
yeah, thanks a lot. So guys, I will just do the spin the wheel, and I will announce. Just give me 5 minutes before, because many people will leave in 8:05. So let me just share my screen, and then we can take some questions, right? So as I told before in this call, so one of our partners, OnDemand, and I have shared this link in the chat, and I will share it again, is giving. So this is a very quick way. Everyone wants to learn how to use AI, and you don't need to get into too much back end, setting up the environment, getting the keys from different platforms. This platform I have been using for almost 6 months, and it is putting everything together. So this is like an AI OS that you want to use for building up applications, right? Like there is a playground where you have different agents, and this is the game changer right now. So we all know chat gpt, you need to pay $20 to access custom gpt and all those things, but here there are already multiple chat agents that you can bring, like Amazon, US stock. Even for this region we have Quran and weather and everything, and you can start building your application, get the Python code from here and put it in your application, right? And there is a free tier which you can use for the community and for a limited time. That's why I'm pushing everyone a lot to take it. And this call is a good opportunity to do that. So for the people, as I promised, for the people who registered, Shreya, are you also interested to participate in this 500 credit?
I would actually love that. Yeah,
Sure.
that's
So I have added everyone who registered, and I've added Shreya Gupta's name as well. And this is random. So this is a Python, simple Python code that we have built. One of our AI resident student had built this application, not so much fancy, but this has taken all the random names. All the people have registered and people who are there in the call. So I have put everyone's email ID here, and I'm going to spin the wheel. But whoever name email comes here, if they are in the call, we will be awarding them the $500. If they are not there, we will spin the wheel again and get the next person out there, right? So I am spinning the wheel, and let us see. So is this person there in this with registered with me2m@gmail.com? If yes, just tell in the chat, because I cannot see the name. No, this is so I will just confirm. Is this person there in the call? I will just count till three. Three, I don't think, right? There is no Me Too ML. So I'll run the spin the wheel again. Okay. See, this is luck by chance. Barry, congratulations. So Barry put his email ID on the chat and he won it as well. So congratulations, Barry. And we will be reaching out to you. And even though free tire is you get extra $500 credit, but in the as I told you, in the free tire you can do almost everything. And if you have a good use case, even though if you don't win, you're not a winner, you reach out to us with your use case and we will try to get you some free credits from on demand. But congratulations, Barry. And Now we will take some questions, and I request everyone in this call, if you have not even registered, please register here, because next month you may not get this free tire. You have to charge at least 200 100 recharge or something to use this platform. So please take opportunity of this. I think this is there till August end. And now I will be again going back and taking some questions that are there. So Rekha, I'm unmuting you. You wanted to ask a question. We can take two more questions because Shreya also has to go for some other call in 10 minutes. Yeah, over to you, Rekha.
Thank you. Hi, Shreya. That was a great presentation. Thank you for sharing the knowledge. So I have two questions. One, could you talk about do you have any examples where AI or any of the emerging technology has been used vastly in the B2B large corporate segment, B2B sales and B2B sort of environment? And second question is, do you see AGI or ANI taking over the current versions of AI, which is trained only for like specific purposes and tasks?
Yes. Hi, Rekha. Thank you so much for your kind words, first of all, and amazing questions. And these are the questions that a lot of people in the AI community, especially the second one, are also asking. So I'll go in order. So the first one you asked was the applications of AI in B2B industries and sales. So for that one, there are two aspects of it. One is how to improve the operations within the organization. So you want to improve your efficiency, you want to make things faster. And putting it in like the simplest terms, right? You want to make things faster, you want to make things easier, you want to make things cheaper, and you want to make things more efficient and automate them. That is where AI will come into play. So when it's a big, large organization, there's a lot of overhead that comes with the actual implementation of things and just the upkeep of the organization as a whole. And a lot of those processes and pipelines can be automated using AI. That would save a lot of cost for the organization in terms of its operational cost, driving the revenue up. So that would increase the profit margins right away. So that is one big implementation. And then the second implementation is towards sale. So if you're doing B2B sales, if you do not have a clear funnel, if you do not have enough leads, how do you drive the sales? A lot of the applications of AI are within sales. If you're using GenAI, you can create better copies or better content that you're pushing out to your warm leads, versus you can do more personalized targeted sales when you're doing B2B. If you use AI, you can look at the patterns of what a certain organization would prefer versus what another organization would prefer, how you can cater your solutions to each of those different organizations. So a lot of personalization can also be very helpful in B2B sales and those kind of organizations. I hope that answered that question. And then the second one that you asked was, are AGI and ANI going to take over AI as it stands today? And the answer is, it depends. So the reason that I say that is a lot of people, there's a lot of fear mongering and misinformation when it comes to AI and what it entails, where we are in terms of research. It's not a new concept. AI has been around for over 40 years. But what is new is the frenzy around AI, is the adoption, is the public adoption of AI. Earlier, AI was used only by the bigger companies, so the research was focused on making that better. Whereas AI, like right now, is being used by the masses. So a lot of AI focus has shifted, even in like industry, it has shifted from actually moving the needle forward on the AI research and building towards that AGI, that general intelligence that is not specific to any problem and any one field, into how do I automate my content faster? LinkedIn is flooded with AI generated content. And then if the content is not AI generated, it is about how to create AI generated content, how to create bulk content pieces, how to parse through that bulk content. So it has delved, like people are kind of moving down into LLMs and GenAI applications, which has kind of like hindered that growth in a way. A lot of people think that Chat GPT, Midjourney, these are AGI, these are not. We are still quite afar, like quite a ways from the actual AGI and ANI to be replacing AI. And still, then I don't think it would actually replace AI. AI would still have more niche applications, which would be better in certain areas. But AGI would have more wider implications. But all the challenges that we discussed for AI would also increase with AGI because it would be more ubiquitous in our lives.
Uh, thanks a lot, Shreya. There are some questions. I will be saving the chat, and I will be trying giving it to you and trying to reach out to them. There are some basic questions regarding encryption and all those things. And I have shared Shreya's LinkedIn. That is the best way to get in touch with you. I have also shared it in the chat. Please get in touch with her. And any closing thoughts, Shreya? And personally, I really thank you. You really put everything, summarized it very well, and you made a very good story out of this. Because AI is such a huge space, a lot of misinformation is there, a lot of interdependencies are there, but you put everything, you summarize it very well. There were a lot of comments about these slides. It is, let me know if you can share a PDF of some of it, and we can push it over to the community. And I have shared your LinkedIn. Any closing thoughts to the community?
Yes. So one thing is AI is very disruptive. When you implement it in your organization, you will face challenges. So be very strategic about how you implement. Don't just go blindly in because somebody else is using AI and it looks cool. Be very strategic when you implement it in your organization, whether it's your own business or you're one of the leaders in a larger organization. But don't be scared with it. All the challenges can be overcome with strategic planning. A lot of it will go into the planning stage and the adoption and the adaptation stage, and you will require training for all of your employees once you introduce it. But that is the way to go. Do not just be like, I want to implement GenAI applications in my company and go blindly in. That generally does not end well. I have a last kind of action item. Identify a pressing business problem in your organization and explore potential tech solutions. When you're exploring potential tech solutions, try to see what are the non AI tech solutions for that problem and what would be the AI counterpart for that same problem. But before that, start with the pressing business problem that you're looking into. There are some learning resources that I have out there. One of them is Master the Art of Boardroom Presence. So, what this teaches is how to get a seat at the table. If you are an AI expert within your organization, how do you get into the room where the decision is being made? How do you get your voice heard in your organization? Because a lot of people have this problem. I learned AI, I know all these things, but nobody in my company is listening to me about this. How do I actually get myself heard? So there is um, this is a free resource book that I have out there that will help you navigate that and get your voice heard out there in your organization and in the community as a whole. And if you want to learn more about the basics of AI, what are the differences between data science and AI? Uh, who's hiring? Who should be looking for? What are the industries? How to go about learning AI? I have a YouTube channel, and you can go check things out there. And I will be posting this session over there as well, that you can look back and kind of do a review. These slides, I generally don't share the slides because a lot of it is copyright material. But you can go back to the YouTube channel and review the presentation again. The slides are up for sale on TopMate. And if you're interested, I can share a discount code with you guys for that as well, if you would like that. But it will be freely available on YouTube. You can look at it anytime that you want. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn, put it in the comments in YouTube, or if you want to like get more understanding, you can book a one-on-one session with me as well. And thank you so much, Arshad, for inviting me, and thank you so much, DDS community. And all of you were amazing audience. The questions were phenomenal. I absolutely loved all the questions. And thanks for driving the conversations and for making this such a wonderful experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shreya, and thank you everyone for joining and staying back. We extended for 15 minutes. It was an interesting session, and hope you all have a great learning. And this will be going on YouTube. As you said, you can, if you want to refer, you can always refer. And thanks a lot, everyone, and keep learning. And one last message, and it's very good in the community that we are seeing. We have a lot of senior people here who are learning about AI, and this is many people ask, is there any age? And I say that leaders have to learn about this technology first, and then only they will be having a, you can say, a wiser understanding than the new generation who is just thinking that generative AI is just chat GPT and just building out things. But leader will be able to incorporate this in the wider organization. So it's very good that leaders are joining the call and learning about this. And I encourage them to do it. There is no age for the learning, and things are moving at a very fast pace. But it is good to have an understanding and make a broader decision. So thank you everyone for joining. The recording will be shared, and we will be talking to you guys soon. Have a great evening, everyone. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. Thanks. Bye.